This week's Piltch Point on PLUGHITZ Live. Oh, I forgot where we were. It's proudly powered by Newegg. Whether you're building a new PC or upgrading an existing one, Newegg has all of the parts and pieces to make that possible. Processors and motherboards and RAM and hard drives and all of that are all available. Plus, they've got daily deals right now. They have a gaming PC pre-built with an 8th gen Core i7 on sale for about $300 off. They've also got last year's Surface Pro on sale and some monitors and all kinds of other stuff. And you can find out all the deals and all the things that are available by going to pilchpoint.live/Newegg. All right. 2018 is coming to a close. We've only got a week left. And that means it's time to start talking about next year, Avram.
Yes. Well, if you think back, time really flies, but at the same time, a lot of things happened in 2018 in the tech world. I mean, there are a lot of things that didn't happen, but, look at the things that did. It was a very embarrassing year for Intel, for example, in 2018, between having the Spectre meltdown stuff happen and then, what went on with their CEO and, failing once again to come out with 10 nanometer chips in volume. It was a rough year for them. But we also saw a lot of interesting progress, in terms of new components, AMD becoming more powerful. And here's what we expect for 2019. And I want to tell folks that this week on Tom's Hardware, where I'm the editor-in-chief, we are going to have predictions every day. It's prediction week, so we are going to have articles up about CPU predictions, GPU predictions, SSD predictions, laptop predictions, VR predictions, and finally my story, which I think we'll put up last, because it builds on all the other ones, which is 19 different predictions for 2019. And there's more that we could have. So a few highlights of things, I was talking about with the folks at the office that I certainly think will happen in 2019. First of all, we think that AMD will probably release a 64-core, 128 Threadripper processor. Ooh. Because it doubles every year for them, and they already announced that their server chip Rome was going to do that. So I think there will be a consumer available 64-core 128 thread chip CPU, and there will be 7 nanometer CPUs from AMD, very likely. But 10 nanometers. Ice Lake, those chips that people have long been waiting for, because from Intel, if we see them at all, there won't be many. As this past year we did see, they shipped a couple of Core i3s into China that were 10 nanometers for Lenovo to use. But it was, the company has been on record as saying you may not see this stuff until 2020, and that's not good news because it's been 6 years since they got to 14 nanometers, and that means, a lack of advancement in processing technology.
It's been how long?
24. Oh, and I shouldn't say 6 years. It's been, I think, 2014. Okay. So 5 years. But if it's, it used to be every couple of years that they would go down a die shrink. In the world of GPUs, we think that AMD is going to also probably come out with new chips that will be somewhat more challenging to NVIDIA, new GPUs. NVIDIA seems likely to release to replace its mid-range GPUs like the 1050 and 1060. In the PC space, this is a bold prediction I'm going to make, but I think that the next Surface Pro will get USB-C. However,
I hope.
however, I will probably then write an article about why it should have had Thunderbolt 3. But I think it will have USB-C. Um, I think we will see. I think it's pretty clear that we're going to see a third generation of Snapdragon powered laptops. Those who've watched the show for a while know I brought on a couple of previous ones that were very underwhelming. But Qualcomm recently announced a new processor, the 8CX, that it claims will be as fast as a Core i5 Intel is today. We shall see. I think it's more dependent, their success is more dependent on having native apps written that support their CPU without it having to do emulation.
And now that Microsoft has officially released wide the ARM target for Windows development for desktop development, that's a pretty big deal and leads us down the path to be able to make that happen.
Also, Google saying that, didn't Google say they were going to make an ARM version of Chrome? I believe.
Yeah. Yes, I had heard something about that.
Yeah, so I think that is one of the killer apps that it's missing. Is that, a lot of people use Chrome. It's the most popular browser, and it doesn't run very well on the Snapdragon laptops because it's running through emulation. I think we will continue to see, in the world of storage, we'll continue to see SSDs get cheaper. SSDs that cost 10 cents a gigabyte will probably be commonplace in the near future, which means you'll be able to get a 1 terabyte for $100. Now that's probably for a SATA drive, not the faster NVMe standard. But nevertheless, all SSDs are getting cheaper. Right now it's a little pricey to get a 2 terabyte SSD. It's going to be very affordable, and getting, a 3 and 4 terabyte SSD will be within reach of people, which means hard drives are going to be less common in pre-built computers. Even budget ones will probably come with SSDs very soon. Unless it's super budget, like a $200 computer, in which case it will also come with solid state storage. It'll just be in that cruddy eMMC memory that's sort of like booting your computer off an SD card or something. But physical hard drives, their days are somewhat numbered, although I think for people who need high volume of storage, like they want to have, 2, 3, 4 terabytes, and they only want to spend $80 on it, or for backup, hard drives will continue to be viable for a while. But one thing that won't be viable is Intel's Optane cache, which was never a great idea, I think, and that system that Intel's been trying to push for about 2 years now, where you could get like a 16 or 32 gigabyte cache storage drive, and it would make your hard drive a bit faster by caching your most frequently used data into the solid state storage. We've seen this idea for a while. It's a bit better than having a regular hard drive, but with SSDs getting this cheap, and not many people use Optane cache anyway, I think that's one that is really going under. Finally, and we've got a lot more that we could talk about. I am going to say that the biggest overhyped technology of 2019 will be 5G. 5G, yes, in the future we will all have much faster internet, faster cellular, but it's going to take a long time before you actually have a confluence of phones a lot of phones that support 5G and true 5G connectivity on a network. So
not just little micro spots.
Right. So yes, I think there's like doesn't AT&T have a hotspot right now that
Yes.
supposedly
From
does
Netgear.
5G? Although they're faking it, they have planned to fake 5G on some phones
Uh-huh.
by changing the indicator, that little thing in the upper right corner of your phone that says 4G or 3G if you're in a poor coverage area, to say 5G E, as in 5G evolution, because it's almost 5G.
Yeah.
So
That's that same crap that T-Mobile pulled with 4G
yes,
that we
I
called faux G.
yes. So that's the thing. I can't get excited about this because it is always more hype than reality. Like, yes, you want faster connectivity. Great. I mean, 3G was the bump from 3G to 4G was a lifestyle change. You could like actually stream video and actually download stuff. The bump to 5G, so far, I'm not sold. I mean, unless what it results in is significantly more reliable connectivity, because 4G is fine. Like for everything that I think most people do,
Yeah.
even streaming video, streaming music, like surfing the web, playing games. 4G is really, really good. The only problem is when you lose it, when you're moving around. Like I'm taking the train to work, and some areas of the train it's zipping along, and other areas in the train I might even have the same 5 bars, but it seems slow.
Uh-huh.
So, but if I'm in a spot where the 4G is good, it's not like I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, I wish this were a little faster." So, I don't know. I'm not that excited about 5G. I know a lot of people are, but anyway, whether you're excited about it or not, there's not going to be a lot to get excited about with 5G in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, even the talk that AT&T went live with 10 cities this week, even that is no. They didn't really. There's little micro spots in those 10 cities where they're testing some 5G capabilities, but it's not like everywhere you go you're going to have 5G. In fact, if you walk 100 feet, you're probably going to slip back down to LTE as it is. There's only that Netgear Wi-Fi thing that you can get a hold of right now. They've got test devices, but that you can't get it.
Yeah, it's also just, I don't know. Far be it for me to say that there's such a thing as internet that's fast enough, but like I said, reliability and like being consistent is if it makes things more consistent, then that would be great.
Yeah.
But like, are there things that you would like to download on your phone now that you cannot?
No. I mean, for a total of maybe 30 hours a year, I'm in a situation where I wish that my hotspot was faster. But that's about 30 hours a year, and it's for a weird situation that most people are not in. That's when we're in a place where we're trying to broadcast and we don't have, the Wi-Fi sucks or something like that. And that is such a weird and special situation.
I mean, that's a good situation to bring up, but then I also would say if you were able to get, I mean, isn't like in a really good coverage area, which doesn't happen a lot, right? If you were able to get like 50 up and 50 down, which the technology I think 4G can do, like, would you be fine with that?
Yeah, if I could have that, but again, have the consistency, yeah, that would be fine. But I don't get 50-50 for more than a couple of minutes in a straight shot before it starts to kick out on us.
Yeah, so I guess that's my question. Is it that we need faster speeds, or we just need more consistency?
Right, and if the bandwidth is larger in general, the availability is larger. Maybe that means, because one of the things, the more pressure that's put on a cell, the smaller the cell gets. That's just the way radio works. So the more pressure put on the cell, the smaller the cell gets. So if there's more bandwidth and our normal everyday activity is put less pressure on that cell, maybe they won't shrink and we won't end up with those those places where we slide into HSPA plus or whatever. Because I've got some places that when like downtown Tampa, when it gets busy, goes from LTE to like HSPA or sometimes even 1X.
What really bothers me, and this has happened to me on a couple of different carriers, is they don't. I appreciate the honesty of that more than I appreciate. A lot of times it looks like I have like 4 bars or 5 bars of 4G, but things aren't loading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where it's still not behaving the way that the phone is advertising that it should. For sure. So you said that these articles are going to post throughout the week?
Yes, on tomshardware.com. Check out our homepage throughout this week. We will be publishing various prediction stories.
Fantastic. Well, it'll be fun to read all of the predictions, and it'll be fun to see how they come out at the end of 2019.
Right. I look forward to talking about this next December and seeing what thing I got right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna as soon as we get off the air, I'm gonna put a reminder into Cortana that our end of 2019 should come back to 163 or whatever your episode number is for tonight. Yeah. Because that would be so much fun. Oh my goodness. Well, I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing you in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So exciting. Anyway, thanks for this, and I look forward to the articles.